welcome to America Uncanceled. I'm Mercedes Schlapp. We're in day 2 of CPAC Mexico. And someone who's been a central part of not only being here at CPAC Mexico, but being at CPAC Dallas was our dear friend, Orlando Salazar, who's joining me here. He is CEO of Both Media. Orlando, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Mercedes.
Now,
it's wonderful to be here.
I am really excited about what you're working on because for a long time, the Hispanic community has only had the Telemundos and the Univisions of the world, and they are pretty much, I would say, left in terms of their
just
coverage.
Like NBC, ABC, CBS.
Exactly. So what made you say, I got to start this company, we got to start honing in on delivering these, I would say, American values or values of freedom and family?
Yes.
And what made you say, okay, I want, this is what I need to be doing, this is my course?
Yeah, about 7 years ago, a friend of mine from Mexico came to visit Dallas. And he's in the cattle business because that's our primary business in our family. And we started talking about politics. And he said, all my friends are conservative in Mexico, but we don't have anywhere to get news. And I said, we don't have anywhere to get news either. So I thought this needs to be, it's not just a U.S. issue,
Yeah.
it's a Latin America issue. So that was the first time I started thinking about doing that. And I kept trying to find other people to do it. And I couldn't find anybody else to do it. And about a year ago, I had this burden that this needs to happen.
Yeah.
And so I just decided to do it myself.
And it's starting to, it's taking off. Tell us about what the programming looks like. What is your goal in terms of the type of programming that you're putting in place?
Well, we started with a website, and our website is written in Madrid, Spain. That means the content is fresh and new every morning, even before we get up.
Wow.
It's all original content.
Right.
We have some great writers. Some of them are here at CPAC right now. As Mario Noya is sitting right over there. He's our editor-in-chief, and he's fantastic. So that's number one, the website. Then we are in the midst of LOI of buying a TV station, so we're really excited about that.
Exciting.
Very exciting. Can't talk about too much about it.
Yeah.
And then we just brought in El American,
Which is a fantastic news site also.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a lot of talent there, and Jorge Grenier is a very brilliant guy, so we look forward to bringing him on board with us. And then we're in talks with a really cool company that does Spanish language podcasts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they have 100 of the top Hispanic talents in the United States. Not necessarily political, but just across the board, all kinds. They have tons of followers.
So I think one of the things I learned when I was at actually CPAC Brazil is that they too didn't really have conservative media. So or an alternative media, they get their news. So their vision of America comes through CNN International.
Right.
That's where they get their news of what's happening in America. So is this an opportunity for even the people in Latin America to get a sense of what's really happening in the USA?
Well, and we're getting a lot of interest in our content, including Latin America, and covering Latin America, and bringing it to them. And there's just a ton of interest, especially here in Mexico.
Really?
Yes.
So I think one of the things that we're seeing, and we saw this with the past elections, is that the Latinos are really abandoning the Democrat Party. They're abandoning these leftist principles. What do you think is driving that?
Well, I don't know that they're abandoning it, but I think they're listening to the other side now.
Okay.
I think the economy is a big thing that's pushing them to open their eyes and ears and hearts to the other message, because they know that the economy, the kind of more controlled socialist leaning stuff is not working for them. It doesn't work for Hispanics.
Well, when you think about the fact that so many Latinos have fled communism, I mean, my parents from Cuba, obviously, there's so many of these stories that are saying they know that communism, socialism leads to not only the destruction of their country, but the taking away of so many of their individual rights and freedoms. I do think that plays a role. I also think that the indoctrination of the children, what's happening in the schools in America, and you know what, it's happening in Latin America too in many of these cases, where it's about the gender ideology. It's about, as Eduardo Bolsonaro said yesterday, your girl goes into school and then she comes out and then she says, I think I'm a boy. Like, these are the issues that are not only facing the USA, but spreading into these different countries in Latin America.
Well, and that's because media has this one giant wave, and that wave is covering the entire world. And it's time for media like Voz Media and some of the other folks to start going counter that wave,
right,
and presenting news to Latin America, to Hispanics, that say the opposite of what the current media is saying.
Yeah. Do you think, as we've seen in these last elections, is there staying power for Hispanics to really embrace the Republican Party?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think we have to just be consistent. Just don't stop. We have to keep engaging with Hispanics. It can't just be like, oh, Mayra Flores, oh, she's not there anymore. Oh, no, it has to be consistent. We have to keep going. We have to keep showing interest and showing them that we want their vote and that we care for them.
Yeah, and it was interesting because Eduardo Bolsonaro, he said yesterday, he goes, it was during Ronald Reagan's time that we ended the Cold War. We thought communism was over, and you realize it's never over.
It's never over.
It just evolves, and it comes in different names, like progressive, liberal, and I think that's a fascinating way to understand that, like you're saying, it's not over. We have to keep fighting the fight.
Well, and as a lot of the speakers have mentioned at CPAC these last few days, is that it's a spiritual battle.
Yeah.
It's light versus darkness. It's good versus evil. And that's what really is at the core of everything that we're dealing with.
Yeah. I mean, I also think as we're moving into the next, we're going to be going into I think we're very grateful the House of Representatives became Republican majority. That is important for stopping the Biden administration. I'm wondering, as you've been here in CPAC Mexico, what's been your impression so far? What have you learned?
Well, I've learned that we have a lot of talent.
Yes.
There's a lot of talent all over Latin America. There's a lot of really smart people all over Latin America. There are people that know what's going on.
Yeah.
Across the board, any kind of topic, any kind of issue, they know what's happening.
Yeah.
So this has been a vehicle where you've been able to bring all these people together, which I don't know that it's ever happened before, but this is great.
Well, I think it's God has brought us all together.
That's
I feel
right.
like for us, I was so moved today. We went to Mass in the morning, and it was our beautiful image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And I told Matt I just couldn't help but be so emotional, because I feel that there's so many people that want to connect with each other because they have the same values, and they're such beautiful values of family, of faith, of love of country, and they feel like the other side, the socialists, are really trying to tear it apart. And I do think in the media, conservatives have really been behind in catching up with where the liberal press is. Do you think that conservatives can make really an imprint and a change, and ensure that the people are getting the right message?
Well, it's going to be a huge effort.
Yes.
It's a monumental effort, but it can be done. I think we need to get the church more involved.
Yeah.
Both the evangelical church and the Catholic church, because
Yes.
if they don't start buying into this, it's going to make the effort a lot more difficult.
Which is interesting. I know I've seen a lot of evangelicals here. There's
Yes.
been a lot of actually nuns and priests
Yes,
here, which
yes.
is more than I would say even in
Yes.
the U.S. I'm wondering, so where do we go from here? I'm really concerned about big tech and censorship. I mean, Elon Musk bought Twitter. Obviously, he I think fired a lot of people there, and then of course he's telling them don't come back to work unless you're ready for this extremely hardcore work environment. And I think that a lot of these Twitter employees were a bunch of snowflakes and said, I'm not doing this. Do you think as Elon is taking over, obviously has taken over Twitter, are we going to be in a better place so that conservatives are not censored?
No. Well, when I say no, I mean that the left never stops.
Yeah.
They never let up. So we're going to have to just create our own platforms. We're going to have to create ways to get around the liberal media. So we're going to have to do that. We will do that, but
Right.
we're going to have to do that.
So what are the next steps for Voz? How can, if anyone's out there wants to learn more about it, where do they go to look at the website, check it out?
Our website is voz.us.
Okay.
Our app is about to come out shortly.
That's great.
And of course, the big thing for us is, Lord willing, we get this TV station, because that's going to really broaden our reach much more quickly.
Yes.
So we're really looking forward to that. And just the other partnerships that are starting to evolve from this, we're starting to get so much interest from so many other people that are interested in being a part of this, both business-wise, content-wise, politically, all kinds of different ways. People are really interested in being a part of this.
Well, we want to thank you for supporting CPAC and everything that you're doing, and we support your efforts as well, and we are excited to see both grow and your leadership in this area. So Orlando Salazar, thank you for being with me.
Thank you, Mercy. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you all for watching, and again, stay in touch. Let us know what's going on, and remember, God bless you all.